Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ryan George Fair. So I'm going to make this video for Lunar Faery Witch, a response to her video, My Experiences Working with Hecate, that she uploaded 2 months ago. Um, Basically, ever since I was young, I've always been interested in ghost shows and the paranormal. When I was young, I played with Ouija boards, but I feel that Ouija boards aren't toys. So, like I said, I played with Ouija boards when I was young. I bought them from the store. I bought tarot cards, but I really don't want to use tarot cards until I go through my Wicca for Beginners book that I'm reading. But see, I was in a witchcraft coven called Bloodstar Coven. Um, because I'm 30 and I want to say, when I was like 25 or 26 is when I was in this witchcraft coven. And the leader's guy's name was Jeff McGaney. And I want to say from the time until I was 17 until I was 20, I talked to a guy whose name was Billy, who knew Jeffree Star, the singer and makeup guy, that I watched on YouTube, who calls himself Sherolade. And then when I was in my second alternative school, which was the Aero Center for Education, that's when I felt I had PTSD. And there was a guy in my alternative school whose name was Jarrett Green that made me think of this guy named Billy that I used to talk to. And then there was a boy in my first alternative school whose name was Dan Wrightley, and then there's this artist that I found called Damon Dash or Damon Winning. There are two different people that aren't related, but they look exactly the same. And then when I was 20 or 21, I hung out with my friend James Colvin. And then I have a black friend on my Ryan Ferret Facebook whose name is Carl James Himes, or he calls himself James Corona. And I used to go to a public school and I was in classrooms. I had a friend named Demetrius and a boy named John Fagus that was in my class. And I had Tourette syndrome, and then they finally sent me to an alternative school, which was the first school on the grounds of Maryland Shepherd Pratt at a campus there. And when I got sent there, I became a behavior issue, and a lot of my friends were gang members. And then I met my one friend who was one of my best friends named Brandon Drexler that has a YouTube who has a friend named Wesley, and Brandon, I think, has a girlfriend, and then Wesley is getting married. Honestly, there were slander pages out there with my name, and people would make status updates about me that were negative, which made me feel like shit. And then sometime about 2 or 3 years ago, I was stolen from by this boy named Alex. They would always make threats to put pictures or messages or information about me on slander pages like this ripoff report slander page. And I just got tired of it, and when I noticed the people of coincidence, people like the Jared Green boy or my dad's girlfriend, whose name is Margie Ribichaux, and her sister Jeanette Edwards, which makes me think of this granny porno that I watched when I was like 21 on the internet, or things like that. I was just like, well, I'll go out and buy a camera. I'll tell people to add me on the accounts I tell them to, and really I don't have to answer any questions if I don't want to, because I felt like there was more cons than pros with my situation. My experience is working with Hecate as I find Wicca to be a peaceful religion which centers around earth worship. I used to go on bike rides with my friend Jeff or my friend James. I have a black rabbit in my room, and I specifically asked for my rabbit to be black and not brown or white because of my belief in Hecate, and how I believe that this is like the dark chapter of life, and how I believe that Hecate is a dark, protective, loving mother goddess that's friendly. And there were times where my second threesome would come over with pocket knives or things like that and hold them out in front of me. But really, I don't play with knives, even though I believe in Hecate. Um, but there are times where I go over to my dad's girlfriend's house even today and I see her. And 9 months ago, I had a schizophrenic girlfriend with black hair. And then sometime about a couple months ago, this boy who was schizophrenic came in my dad's house. And really, my dad, George, would always stand in the way of letting me have friends over. He would always stay here when I had girlfriends over. And there were slander pages out there with my name. And I had enough money to buy a camera, and I have lots of clothes, and I buy things. And I plan to buy a do-rag when I get my disability money, and my dad, George, should be coming home in the door today at 3 with Kronos, because he said he would. But really, my dad, George, is very evil. He's miserable and mean, and he would punch me in the face and things like that, and take me to the mental hospital when I had blood all over my face and say it was my fault and call the police on me and scratch his own face and things like that. So I plan to disown my dad, George, when I move out of here and find somewhere else to live. There are people who say that they'll move me in, and when I do, I plan never to talk to my dad, George, again. He says he wishes I wasn't even born someday. Not that I really care, because I don't like him. I'm straight. I've never done things with boys before. I had my first kiss when I was 8, my first girlfriend when I was like 13 or 14 named Alicia. And then I got with my second girlfriend, Brooke Dirks, in my alternative school, who was this girl that had brown hair and wore glasses that was sent there for schizophrenia. And then after Brooke, I was with a third black girl named Tanya, a fourth one named Nadia, and then a fifth one named Sabrina. And in my mom's neighborhood, I hung out with a heavyset girl named Ray. I had a black friend named Ryan Cherry who died from the coronavirus, and that's why I got this tattoo. And my Wiccan coven leader got this on me, but I was only in seeker stage and witchcraft when I did this. And that's when I had James over, who is my best friend, in my James Colvin music listening video. I got this dark tree because I believe in a dark goddess, and I got this Grim Reaper tattoo because of my, I've thought about killing myself a couple times, and I got this dark tree because of my belief in Hecate and this Gemini symbol because I'm a Gemini. I've never stolen anything before. I like to give to people and not receive. There was one time I was at the mall with my friend Ray, and she stole something out of the mall. And I was banned from the mall just because I was with her and she stole something. But I find that I get stolen from, and it makes me sad. Like, sometime about 2 or 3 years ago, this Russian boy, who was my second threesome, came in and stole my Xbox from me, and I talked about it on my Sims 4, which is Ryan Aliendo. And then sometime about 9 months ago, me and my friend Austin, who is this boy that was in my school, did 5 or 6 threesomes on my girlfriend with black hair I was with named Berta. And if you guys want to see a picture of me, Ryan, with my girlfriend with black hair named Berta, it's on my own Cloud410 Instagram. And there are times where I get good looks where celebrities that I like to watch wish me well, like Michelle Knight, who wrote her Finding Me a Decade of Darkness, a Life Reclaimed thing, where I found Gina's Facebook, who was held captive by Ariel Castro or Amanda Berry, and I wish them well in life, and I didn't try to send them any friend requests because I respect their privacy. But really, I don't like my dad, George. I think he's evil. Sometime about 2 or 3 years ago, he wasn't giving me my disability money at all when I qualified. I feel like he was giving my disability paychecks to his girlfriend Margie. But I get it given to me by hand or put on a card now. And I have a phone that I have, and I send my friend messages. And there's one boy on my Ryan Fair Facebook whose name is John Powell, which makes me think of this guy named John Hawk that raped a girl in Stickham. But my friend John Powell isn't a rapist. He's had lots of girlfriends and things like that. My experiences with doing witchcraft is I find Hecate to be a scary goddess. In my experiences with working with Hecate, she's not a goddess of linen and lace. And there's nothing she can't do, but I feel she is protective and comforting as long as you seek her. Because, see, I was a Christian for a long time, and I watch YouTubers who are Christian, and it's all faith in Jesus, and I feel if you work with witchcraft, it's a warm, comforting feeling to know that you can work directly with deities. Like I say, the Hecate goddess of darkest night prayer that I learned in a powerful witchcraft coven that I was in. Which is Hecate goddess of darkest night, send my troubles all to flight, burn them in thy sacred fires and replace them with my heart's desires, which is a prayer I learned in witchcraft, which is a secret prayer. For secret, because there's secret witch coven here in a day. And then sometime about in October of last year, I hung out with this boy named Jay, who said he was going to let me sleep with girls or sleep with his girlfriend, and he didn't even do that and let me pay for my ride back home, so I don't like Jay. And then my first best friend Victor screwed me over. And then I've been with my new friend named James Colvin that's staying here with me, and I'm going to try and see if I can move in his house and maybe live with him because I don't like living with my dad, George. And see, when I was young, I liked a mixed girl that played the violin that I would hang out with my friend Ray and my friend Ryan. And I've never done things with boys before, but I had 5 girlfriends in my alternative school, and I feel I outnumbered my dad. And my dad said he doesn't even talk to any of his original girlfriends from school. And then, like I said, 9 months ago, I had a girlfriend with black hair. And sometime a year ago, I got a videotape of me having sex with this one blonde girl named Alexis that I was with. It's a phone camera video where I'm having sex with her from behind. And see, I said prayers to feel as if Hecate could give me a girlfriend. And things like that. And I finally got a girlfriend with black hair that I was with 9 months ago. And sometimes I would watch Judge Judy or things like that, and I like Judge Judy. Or I like to watch Jerry Springer or things like that, and I like to read books, like my witchcraft book or my Ariel Castro and Michelle Knight book or things like that. I like to watch Demolition Ranch or Bikers and Beards and things like that. And I watched this guy named Celeb on YouTube. I also like to watch videos about Jeffree Star, and I like to watch Matthew Lush and Chris Cracker videos because I find them to be interesting. I also like to watch animal videos because I have a black rabbit. And I have a turtle in the house. This is my black rabbit. She's a girl. Her name is Midnight. My dad wanted to get me a pet for my schizophrenia. Because for a long time, the Sugar Pratt act team that my dad had me on that abused me, verbally and emotionally had me on these awful medications. And my cat was watched by a girl named Samantha, and Samantha, lost my cat, so I asked my dad to get me this black female rabbit named Midnight. Go in your cage. And see, I got diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia when I was 20 or 21. And Alex, this boy who stole from me, had a girlfriend named Courtney, and they steal things from this boy named Ryan all the time, and I don't buy weed or anything off this boy named Alex who stole from me anymore. And then Alex had this other girl named Allison Freeman that is a huge bitch that I don't like, along with Courtney, his girlfriend, and Alex stole from me, and Alex thinks that he's all famous and all that, when really I feel I'm more famous than Alex at this point, because Alex was only on one Larry King episode, and I have 4 subscribers, I get comments, and I've been seen by 12,000 people. Skankisha, who is the Shirley guy, noticed my psychosis, and he liked my video on my Ryan for Weekend Drag Queen in Maryland channel. My Ryan Alien Do channel has 24 subscribers, and I've been seen by 20,000 people on that channel. All of my videos, of which get likes, and on my Ryan Living with Paranoid Schizophrenia channel, I've been seen by 20,000 people, and my videos get likes on there. I got into a fight sometime a year or 2 ago, and I told my dad I fell off a skateboard. And really, my dad, George, is just an evil man that I don't like. But I try and get along with him the best I can. And I really had no other friends that I could move in with, or friends that would take me in. But I felt if I were to move somewhere else and maybe just drink alcohol at my friends' houses or things like that, I would be happier than sitting in this house where my dad did not buy me marijuana for a long time. He did not give me alcohol or things like that when I would ask him to, and even today, he still puts up a fight about getting me alcohol on certain days. Like, even though I'll tell him I'll give him my disability money, he didn't do that for me yesterday. He told me to wait until today. So I really don't like my dad, George. I think he's evil. And like I said, my first girlfriend, Alicia, cheated on me when I was like 16, but I don't really let that bother me. It's over and done with. That was when I was 16, and she's with her new boyfriend now, and I wish them well in life. And then I was with my second girlfriend, Brooke, Dirks, and she gave me a blowjob, and then I ate her out. And then I was with a third girl named Tanya, who is black, a fourth one named Nadia, who is Christian, who is getting married to her new husband during the coronavirus, and then a fifth one named Sabrina LaRochelle, who is with her new husband, Darren, that I fingered at my 17th birthday party when I was 17, and I'm 30 now, but that was so long ago. And then I like to mix girl named Kelly, who's getting married to her husband, Brody, on the internet, in a YouTube video. And then, like I said, 9 months ago, I had a girlfriend with black hair named Florida, who was my girlfriend, and me and my friend did 5 threesomes on her 9 months ago, which was awesome. And really, I don't feel as if I'm famous. 4 subscribers and being seen by 12,000 people or 14,000 people on this channel isn't famous. That's just like an underground, internet celebrity, I guess. That's my status. But see, I knew people who talked to Jeffree Star or things like that, and I talked to this boy who was on the Larry King show and things like that. And also, Kimmy Meisner, the girl who was the ice skater, was in my public school. And then there was this boy who was a boxer who went to my public school named Cody Eisner, who is not really all that famous. So Cody Eisner and Kimmy Meisner went to my public school. Alex, this boy who was on Larry King, was on my thing. And I knew Billy Wesley Fouts, the Shirley guy, who was my best friend for 4 years. But I never talked to Brandon Rogers or any of his friends. I hung out with him and this guy named Gary Lanier, who is the sushi chef on the Shirley Encyclopedia Dramatica page. And things like that. I used to talk to Josh Knight sometime years ago. And people assumed I wasn't real or I never met Billy Wesley Fouts. Like people who made slander pages about me. Like that old dyke that has yet to come on here and apologize for making Ryan George for a rip-off report, which caused me a lot of pain. Because she didn't know I was a paranoid schizophrenic and Tourette's with epilepsy sufferer with bipolar disorder and I'm on the autism spectrum. One of the only friends I talked to from my public school is my friend Demetrius, who was this Greek boy with black hair. Let me go get some tea. And then, like I said, sometime about 9 months ago, I texted this boy that's in jail named Damon Winning. Which makes me think of this boy named Dan Reichley that has an Instagram account that was in my first alternative school. And I just like to sit in my room and play with my black rabbit named Midnight. And I can't find the turtle in the house somewhere. I think maybe it's in the dining room. And I like to play with Alexa and ask it questions when it works. And I like to play my Sims 4, which is Ryan Aliendo. And I find that even if you have stomach problems or, you're sad or, you write down that you're Wiccan as your religious belief or you've been cheated on by your first girlfriend or things like that, or you were with a girl with black hair 9 months ago and she leaves you for somebody else, it's not the end of the world. And if you talk about it, on your Facebook or things like that, friends are there to comfort you. Sometimes I talk to my friend Mike Brown. I don't really find many of my classmates on the internet except for this one girl named Annie, who was this crazy girl that was a classmate with me. I was in a holding cell sometime about 2 or 3 years ago. For something. My fifth girlfriend, Sabrina La Rochelle, you guys should subscribe to her on YouTube. She's trying to get disability, for her issues. I think she has problems in her legs. I don't play with knives, even though I'm Wiccan, but for a long time, I was in an what I felt was an unhealthy witchcraft coven. And I have one self-harm scar that I plan to get covered up with the marshmallow guy, who is the marshmallow guy. And I have, like I said, I have this Wicca for Beginners book, that I'm going to start reading. And I make circles even today, and I meditate with them on the floor when I get enough candles. And I bought, the Salem Spells bag from Spencer's. And I like to eat rice and beans. And there was a time when I was vegan. And I have a vape. And I have this skull in my room. And sometime when I was like 21 or 22 is when my dad got with his girlfriend Margie Rubichaux, who calls herself Gigi with a sister named Jeanette. And I like to go on silly adult movie websites and watch silly movies. And within the past 5 years, I've only smoked about 4 times. Otherwise, I don't really smoke marijuana very often. I find this where I get hurt or injured, and I believe in a dark goddess that gives me good luck. And I call her Hecate, and she's the goddess I bond with, and I pray to Zeus, a god in Greek mythology. And I talk to a lot of my friends on my Ryan Fair Facebook. But I don't talk to my one friend named John Powell anymore. But I talk to my friend Demetrius sometimes, or I talk to this boy named Jared on my Ryan Logan Winning Facebook, who is a people consonants person, with Billy Wesley Fouts, the Chevrolet guy, who calls himself Jared. And sometime about 3 weeks ago, I talked to my friend Jeff McCaney, who is the leader of the witchcraft coven I was in. And my friend James Colvin is over here. He hangs out with me. And it's been probably a year since I talked to the Carl James Himes, people coincidence boy. I used to play Grand Theft Auto and car games, and things like that. And I had a Super Nintendo, and I would play Super Mario World on my Super Nintendo when I was little. And this other game that I used to play. And I used to play Animaniacs on Super Nintendo. And I also like to play The Sims 4, which is my favorite game. And also, I play with mods like Drunken Sex mods and Extreme Violence mod and Superhero mods and things like that. I like to watch YouTubers like Squeezy Jibs, and I like to try and find Judge Judy episodes. And I like to watch Hamtaro, which is a show that I watched. And there are times where I'm manic because of my bipolar disorder. Or I get happy or silly or giggly because of my conditions. But overall, I have bipolar depression, which makes me sad. Like I said, I have one self-harm scar. And sometime when I was about 28 or 27 is when a boy from my alternative school named Matt attempted to rape me. And I thought about dropping out of my alternative school because it was difficult there. I don't know. But I graduated from my alternative school. And then, like I said, there was a man that said, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine to me when I was young. And then my first best friend at my alternative school named Victor Hill screwed me over and replaced me with the Carl James Himes people coincidence boy. But I talk to my friend Mike Brown on Facebook sometimes, or my friend Brad, who was in my alternative school, or things like that, whose name is Brad. And then I talk to this girl named Casey, or my friend Victoria, who was sent to my alternative school for PTSD. And this is going on 29 minutes. I'm going to upload this on my Ryan George Fair channel. For Lunar Faery Witch. This is my video for you. And I'm going to call this a response video to my experiences working with Hecate. I hope you're good, Lunar Faery Witch. Much love and peace from Ryan Fair.